Okay, topic C, lists. Now, lists in Python, they are an aggregate data type. Essentially, a list is a collection of items separated by commas. And these items are similar to strings in a sense that you can think of a string as a list of characters. In other programming languages, you have the term array. Array is very much the same thing as a list. So a string would be an array of characters. A list is an array of pretty much anything you want. They are heterogeneous. So in a list, you can have some integers, some floating point numbers, some nested other lists that are in there, some tuples, anything you like. Lists are also mutable, meaning that you can change any item in a list without actually having to use the equal sign and reassign a brand new value to the list. And finally, you can, for, all terms and purposes, you can think of a list as like a wardrobe with a bunch of shelves, and you can put anything you want. There are no constraints to what you put as an item in a list. So let's have a look at what they look like in practice, right? So we got two lists here. One is letters, A, B, and C, and two is numbers. First list is made up of strings. The second one, integers. You can add them together, no problem. So if you tried to do this without doing it in a list, you wouldn't be able to add integers to strings, but see, that's a heterogeneous list. We got A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Lists can be multiplied. So if you said letters times 3, you would have ABC, ABC, ABC. That would be it. They can be iterated. So if you said letters equals to letters plus D, you would have the new value of letters would be A, B, C, D. You can also just say letters plus equals to D. So list operations, you can index lists the same way we've indexed strings. So that is a list of fruits, apples, bananas, strawberries, mangoes, pears. Fruits 3, the 3 would be 0, 1, 2, 3, mangoes. You can also use negative indexes. So count from the back, fruits -1 would be pears. Slicing. You can slice lists, again, same way you can slice strings. So if you take my list here, if you take items 4 to 5. Now, remember, 5 is not included, so technically this is just going to be one item, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you can also use the other slicing method, so like from 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that'll be 60 onwards. That would be 60 and 70. So same rule, if you omit an index from the beginning, you're basically going all the way up until the index on the right. If you omit the index on the right, you're going all the way to the end of the list from whatever your first index is. So changing values in a list. Since lists are mutable, you can change any value in a list by assigning the index. So we actually had an error when we tried to do this with strings. With lists, it's cool. So we can actually name Stu 0, 1, 2. We can replace John with Jean, which is like the French term for John. We can add stuff to lists just using the plus sign, or we can use the append function. So list.append will, so if we have a bunch of planets, actually all of the ones in the solar system, no Pluto, because it's not a planet. So planets.append planet X, so planets now will include planet X. So you can assign basically slices. So for example, if you have this list here, the slice of the list, 3 to 6, would be 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, would be numbers 4, 5, and 6. And you can actually assign a slice to something else. Reassign the slice to ABC, and you're going to have that as your new list. So do take care of that note, because when you assign a list, it points to an object in memory. If you assign it to another variable, that variable references the original list. The new variable also references that same list object in memory. Any changes made using either reference will always change the same list object. We're going to find ourselves a practical situation where we get into this situation in the list of dictionaries lesson coming in the future. Alright, so let's look at some list operations. So we've got my friends, your friends, each of 3 names. Now we're gonna create a combined list with 2 of them. So we can print my friends plus your friends. And that should print out a bigger list, all 6. But let's say you want to add your friends to my friends, like, you know, I made friends with your friends. Control Z, I should just Control C this. So you can do it most easily with the plus equals iterator of my friends plus equals to your friends. Now, if I was to print my friends, that would just show the same collection of friends, adding up both the lists. Now, let's say that you want to replace one of the friends. So these would have the index. The new index of my friends would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's say we want to replace Jill. I don't know, we'll replace Jill with Jane. We can simply say my friends 4, which remember was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 equals to Jane. Now we play that. So Jill's become Jane in this new version. So there you go. We are assigning an index value to a new value. Well, I actually think that pretty much covers all the operations that I wanted to do. So maybe we can do that note that I presented at the very end. Meaning when you sort of copy my friends, so for instance, my friends became your friends. So for example, if I say people equals to my friends, can you guess to what will happen to print people? Now, people, this assignment of people was made right here, and then Jane was changed. So watch this. People is actually the very same list as my friends. This people is just a pointer. So the only way that people becomes a copy and is different is if you do this, which would be list. So that actually makes a copy of my friends and creates a brand new variable called people, which is copied my friends. So if my friends change after this point, people will still remain the same. See, in people, Jill is still there. In my friends, Jill is gone. All right, so much for list operations. All right, so let's quickly cover list functions. And these are some very basic ones. We're going to cover list functions or list methods as they're otherwise known in much more detail in lesson 6. So for now, we're just going to cover some basic ones. And these are the following. So length. So length, for example, you have numbers. That stands for how many items? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So length numbers returns 6. So length you can use with dictionaries, tuples, as well as lists. Max gives you the highest value. If it was a string, I believe it would literally rank them by the first letter, and then the max would be the letter Z, and minimum would be A. So min numbers, that's obviously the minimum. Maximum 99, minimum 1. Sum adds them all up, provides you with the total. And sorted, you'll notice that the 7's at the back, sorted just goes from the lowest to the highest value in order. So let's have a practical look in PyCharm and how we can do these. So here we go with an example of basic string functions. Essentially, what we just covered are going to be min, max, sum, length, and sorted. And we start working with some data here, which is a list of rainfall values. So using this, we're going to print out minimum rainfall, maximum rainfall, average rainfall, and then we're going to have like rainfall ranking. So let's start by defining min rainfall. And that can just be the min function of rainfall. You can also do a nice custom print statement. Print minimum rainfall. All right, we can run this. Minimum rainfall is 0. So I guess the maximum one would be really similar. Boils down to changing the word min to max, 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 and maximum rainfall is max rainfall. So maximum rainfall is indeed 200. So next we can have a look at average rainfall. Now, to do the average, we're going to need to take the sum and divide the sum by the number of items. So this is where the length is going to be convenient. So average rainfall equals to sum of rainfall divided by the length of rainfall, which is going to basically tell us how many items there are in the rainfall list. And I guess I can just write this. Average fall is going to be beautiful. So if we run that, average rainfall is 60 point something. So finally, we could print the sorted rainfall, like from, I think it's going to sort from minimum to maximum, but we're just going to go sorted rainfall. And this should do it from minimum to maximum. And within the sorted, you can actually write reverse equals to true, like this. Reverse equals true. And so instead of having 0, 0, 19 from lowest to highest, you can reverse this whole list and have it from 200 down to 0. So let's just play that and show it. There you go. 299, 73, and so on. Okay, that wraps it up for the basic list functions.